this is Ogre and I'm going to be joined by Big D from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be reviewing the 2016 movie Finding Dory. So in this movie, Dory and her friends Nemo and Marlin go on an adventure in search of answers about her past and what she can remember and who her parents are and where did she learn to speak well. This all leads to a big adventure at an ocean theme park in California, and she meets a lot of her old friends, and we find out like all the different history behind Dory throughout this movie and everything. A lot of stuff that we didn't have to have answers to about her, but I'm glad we did and everything. So before I get into my part, I'm going to let Big D do his part, so take it away, Big D.
Hey everyone, this is the Big D, back again with Ogre Boy, doing another review for Pixar Night. This time it's Finding Dory from 2016, the sequel or spin-off of Finding Nemo. Now this film focuses on Dory, the regal blue tang, who apparently, as a young one, gets separated from her parents, Ginny and Charlie. Well, as she grows up, she gradually forgets them due to her short-term memory loss. So, with a bit of help from Marlin and Nemo, they help her try to find her parents and reunite with them. But of course, she gets captured and is taken to a marine life institute where she's placed in quarantine and tagged. There she meets an octopus named Hank, plus several other characters. So, I think the story for Finding Dory turned out to be pretty good in my opinion. Well, I much like Finding Nemo a little more, but, well, this film's kind of grown on me a little bit more after recently rewatching it on Disney+. With the voice cast, we have Ellen DeGeneres back as Dory and Albert Brooks as Marlin. They're both still good as I remember from the first film. We have a host of others including Ed O'Neill, Caitlin Olsen, Ty Burrell, Diane Keaton, and Eugene Levy. Now the music for this was really good too, as it was composed by Randy Newman's cousin Thomas, who had recently done the score for this film's predecessor, Finding Nemo, as well as WALL-E, and Disney and Pixar's recent hit from last year, Elemental. So, that was pretty good. Also, I really think that, like its predecessor, its animation was absolutely amazing, as well as the emotional weight and its voice acting, because it had a lot of great voice actors, as I've already mentioned, plus several others, and what have you, and its humor. Now, while I might not be as big on this as I am with Finding Nemo, I still think Finding Dory's grown on me, as I've said already. This may not be one of my top favorite Pixar flicks, but it's getting up there, though. So, with everything said, I think Finding Dory was a very good Pixar sequel. Never thought I would actually enjoy a sequel to a great film like Finding Nemo, but it looks like will be wrong, and I seem to have come to like this a little more. The film is good. It's got a good story, great characters, old and new, plus a great score from Thomas Newman, animation, humor, and heartfelt moments. Enough said, they were all good. And that's all I can tell you. So, as always, thank you for making me a part of this, Ogre Boy. Until our next collab, this is the Big D saying, see ya.
Thank you, Big D. It's great to have you on here as always. I always enjoy having you on here. And, I gotta say, I really enjoy this movie. I honestly think it's one of the best sequels of all time, really. I mean, Pixar really knows how to do a good sequel. They've done one bad sequel, of course, 2 and everything, but they're really good at doing sequels, and this one is definitely one of their best ones. I think it's probably my favorite sequel that they've done outside of the Toy Story franchise sequels and stuff, but it's great. The water park setting is a lot of fun, and the characters are also lovable. The returning ones are just as great as they were in the first movie. They all feel like they just continually leapt off from the first one into this one, and they haven't changed at all. They're all great and everything. And then you get some really cool cameos from some of the characters from the first one, little small appearances from like Crush the Turtle, and we see the seagulls during the end of it, and during the post-credit scene we get the Tank Gang in there, which was really cool. I do wish that they would have had more screen time and stuff. I was actually, if there's anything that did disappoint me with this movie, is I wish the Tank Gang would have at least been in this movie a little bit more. But for what they did with it, I still really enjoyed it, and I love all of the new characters. There's so many great new characters, and that's probably why the Tank Gang wasn't brought in, is it would just overstuff it with characters, and if that's the reason, that's understandable. But you got the seals that are great too. I don't know the two main seals that are sitting on the rocks' names, but they're both lovable characters and stuff. And every time the one seal that named Gerald, the only reason I remember his name is because they always say his name, and then they start going off, 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 and makes him jump back into the water and stuff. I don't know why, but every single time they do that, it's a recurring gag throughout the whole movie. But every single time it cracks me up and everything. And then at the end of it, when they decide they want to go with the gang to see what's going to happen at the end and everything, they leave the rock and he jumps on it, and he's just sitting there laughing and everything. I don't know what it is about Gerald, but he just cracks me up with his little sneaky laugh and stuff. He's just funny and stuff. And then you got Hank, who is a really lovable grumpy octopus character voiced by Ed O'Neill and everything, and he's great too. And I honestly think if they make a third one, Finding Hank could be a potential third one when we find out more about his backstory, because there's a lot there that could make an interesting movie. So I always have kind of had hope that maybe if we do get a third one, it'll focus on him, if not Marlin, although I think it would make sense for it to be Marlin and everything too. But I don't know what they could do with the third one, but I do hope we get a trilogy and everything, and I hope we get all of these characters returning too. And also you got the two Wells, Bailey and Destiny. They're both really great too, really lovable characters. And Becky, this bird that just is, you could tell isn't all the way there. It's a really funny character. Almost everything that Becky does in this movie just cracks me up. I don't know why, but she's funny to me. And then Dory's parents, Jenny and Charlie, are really lovable too. So all of these new characters just are great welcome additions to the Finding Nemo characters and everything. They're all great. And I don't know how or why, but the animators, they managed to put a receding hairline on a fish with Dory's dad, Charlie. I don't know why he looks like he has a receding hairline, whose idea it was, how they came up with the idea, but however they did it, it just shows that Pixar is really brilliant at doing weird stuff like that. And also, Eugene Levy was excellent as the voice of her dad and everything, and I think Diane Keaton did the voice of her mom. I really wish that they could have been in the movie more. They would have done a little bit more with them and everything, and that's why another reason I hope we get a sequel is I'd love to spend more time with all of these new characters and everything, and get even more development with them and stuff. They're all just lovable, and I hope we at least get something new with the Nemo characters. The score in here is done by Thomas Newman again, who also worked on the first movie, and I will say his score for the first one is a lot better, but this one is still really good too. It fits the movie really well and everything, so I enjoyed that. And the ending it's bonkers crazy that Dory and Hank hijacked this truck that is filled with the fish in the aquarium, including Marlin and Nemo, and drive it off the highway and into the ocean. And it's just absolutely crazy. Like, they steal the truck, they drive around in circles, and then they drive it off the bridge. and everything, and it goes into slow motion. It's playing What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. It's just absolutely bonkers crazy and kind of hilarious watching all these different fish fall into the ocean and stuff is in slow motion and everything, and it's just really fun scene. And then it cuts away to they're all back in Australia, back at the Great Barrier Reef, and pretty much living happily ever after as a big family and stuff. And I love like how the message of the story, like how you don't have to be blood to be family. That's something I've come to live by, and everything. So I thought that was really cool too. And just it's a lovable movie with great characters that can't help but love, and just it's a fun time. It doesn't really do too much to add a bunch of lore and stuff to the Finding Nemo world, although it adds a lot more depth to Dory's character and stuff. But it doesn't take away from the originality of the original. It takes what made the original so great and keeps it charming and fun and enjoyable, and it's exactly what it needs to be. As far as being a sequel to Finding Nemo, I think they did a great job. I thought it was a really good time and everything. Is it one that's necessarily needed? No. It was most likely made to be a cash grab, more than likely, but like with most of Pixar's movies, I think it's good enough that I don't really care. I've loved this movie ever since it came out. I felt like Finding Nemo was one of those that it was going to be impossible for them to do a sequel that was as good as it. And while I don't think this quite tops Finding Nemo in any way, I think it's almost as good and everything. And anytime I watch them together, do a double feature, they always go really well together. So it's not really one that I think is bad at all, and I think they did a really, really great job with it for being a sequel to Finding Nemo and everything. Because like I said, it had a lot to live up to, and I think they pulled it off really well for the most part. So all in all, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I'd go as far to say that I'd give Finding Dory a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love this movie. There's just not really much else I can say about it. The voice cast is great. Everybody is great in their roles. Ellen DeGeneres especially, and everything. And I think this movie did everything right that Cars 2 did wrong. Like you brought the side character Dory, you made her the main character, and everything. Is she carried the movie so much better than Mater did with Cars. And maybe it just comes down to my preference and just liking Dory better. I think she's a much more likable character anyway, and everything. But I think it also does come down to Ellen DeGeneres. She's just absolutely perfect as Dory. One of the best castings in Pixar history. But I think everybody's perfectly casted in Finding Nemo and Finding Dory and everything. So, but yeah, I really love this movie and everything. So anyway, thank you, Big D, for joining me. It was great to have you on here again, as always. And thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video. And have a good day, everybody.